A news site devoted to tracking the activity of Russian bots noted a 5,300% uptick. 5,300%, 5,300% uptick in the use of the hashtag #FireMcMaster by Russian bots and trolls this week.
Hold it now.
You have this coordination here where Breitbart went after H.R. McMaster, and their headline was MSNBC Purge, McMaster deeply hostile to Israel and to Trump, trying to paint him as anti-Israel. Interestingly enough, Donald Trump's reaction to that was a statement in which he said, General McMaster and I are working very well together. He's a good man and very pro-Israel. I'm very grateful for the work he continues to do serving our country. What do you make of that little contretemps?
Well, I think that is a sign of General Kelly, General Mattis, and H.R. McMaster all forming what they're calling the axis of adults, and telling Donald Trump that the game time is over with this silly inside the White House alt-right conspiracy group that has been leaking like crazy to the lunatics on the InfoWars side of the fence, and it's interesting also that these guys got a pushback from the very top. It's caused a great rift inside of the alt-right right now, where Donald Trump has said, McMaster is good with me and I'm good with him, and all these guys who expected that the same games they've been trying to play all along of revving up the alt-right guys, the frog meme guys, and moving that up the weird food chain of the alt-right to Fox and having it blasted out by Fox and Rush and all those folks, they thought that would keep working, and the grown-ups have put the brakes on this thing pretty hard. And
the interesting thing about it is, Malcolm, so you do have McMaster, who had not been able to dislodge Ezra Cohen Watnick, who, if people will remember who he is one of the people alleged to have leaked to Devin Nunes information trying to essentially obscure the Russiagate and help Trump out and exonerate him on this charge that President Obama had wiretapped Trump Tower. And to the point that Rick just made, you do have this ecosystem now, the Daily Caller, putting out a headline. Everything the president wants to do, McMaster opposes, and they claim that they're citing former National Security Council officials. Who knows who that is? But then you have it then hit the troll world. There's a troll tracking service that essentially said, and it's called Secure Democracy, and it shows that today's top messaging priority from the Kremlin is fire NSA H.R. McMaster.
Yeah, that's Clint Watt's team, by the way, that is now tracking the propaganda trends as they come out of Russia.
Former FBI agent.
Former FBI agent, Mr. Awesome Guy.
Former FBI agent, Mr. Awesome Guy.
But most importantly is that what you see now is there is this unspoken alliance between Russian intelligence, because that's who runs these trolls. This is what they call the boys from Olinka. They are Russian bots that are put out there that are controlled by the GRU and the FSB. And they infiltrate and flood data into the United States, into groups that want to see that message. They amplify messages and they ping-pong messages. McMaster's, whatever he is doing, Moscow wants him out of this job. Yeah. They want the Steve Bannon, Jared Kushner wing of, the axis of incompetency, so to speak, to go there and push what they want done. But McMaster he's a soldier. And like Mattis and Kelly, and you notice we now have 3 flag-ranked officers who are now running things inside the White House. Things can only get more difficult for Moscow at this point. So I believe that there is this whole network that needs to push the Jared Kushners and the Steve Bannons and the Breitbarts to the top in order to continue meeting the strategic goals of Moscow.
The folks that are in the, quote, deep state are by and large American patriots who are seeing that there's vast Russian influence over the Trump administration, and that there's vast Russian connection to the Trump administration, and that's why they're speaking out.
I mean, and part of these same sort of left-right continuing strange things, you have now people, that are generally the left, people like me, who are saying, now saying that the sort of only hope for the Republic at this point is the CIA, the NSA, and generals that are now being sort of infused into the White House. You almost have a phalanx of military generals inside the White House that the right sees as a coup in the making, but that many who, are freaked out by Donald Trump, quite frankly, think, well, maybe this is who has to save the Republic.
I really would love to have stepped back in time and gone back to watch Madison and Jefferson discuss this in a bar somewhere in Philadelphia. Because they had to have thought at some point, we're going to get King George IV.
Yeah.
And he is going to take over as president of the United States, and he'll have all three branches of government into it. What can we do to ensure that? The bureaucracy of the government of the United States is the continuum that maintained this government since Washington.
The bureaucracy of the government of the United States is the continuum that maintained this government since Washington.
The right, alt-right, right now views the government that puts out your Social Security checks, that delivers your mail, that comes out and defends you against the horrible Muslim terrorist hordes that you're always terrified of, that make your roads, are now the enemy.
Yeah.
And we are just appreciating government is good.
Government is good.
Government does stand for us. Government, our tax dollars, do have a function, do have a use. And the Steve Bannons of the world who want to dismantle that are not the people that we want to continue giving government to. That being said, the Secretary of Defense Mattis put out a memo this week about ethics in the Defense Department, which everybody should read. And it should be the standard for the White House. Obviously it isn't.
Yeah.
But there you have it.